And we are underway for day 2 of the what's known as the mega trials. We have U19, U23, and senior trials going on today. First race is the U19 men's single final 2. The U19 events have 3 finals potentially. It's the best 2 out of 3, and number 1 was run yesterday. Number 2 is this morning. We are on a condensed schedule due to weather. You can see those heavy clouds hanging behind the race course, and we had to wait for quite the storm to pass this morning. It has cleared, and we are racing, but unfortunately we only have the camera from the finish tower. The races are going to be on 5-minute centers, so everything's going to happen pretty quickly. Yesterday, Clark Dean, the reigning U19 world champion, won his first final in convincing fashion, and even from about 1,500 meters away, maybe a little bit less, if you look really close, you can see that he in the middle lane is still ahead of Maxwell Heed and William Legendzowski. Clark rowing in the middle lane. Started rowing very early at the age of 11. And I think he's got more than that vaunted 10,000 hours in to be skilled at your craft. And he's pretty skilled and doing a great job out in front right now. And his competitors are no slouches. Maxwell finished 3rd in the youth single at youth nationals about a month ago. And William was in the bow seat of the New Canaan quad that won at youth nationals about a month ago. But it appears that they cannot match the speed of the reigning world champion. Conditions are pretty good right now. You can see a little bit of ripple on the lake, but it's the wind has died, and it's sprinkling maybe a little bit here and there, but for the most part the rain has passed. There is another cell coming, hence the condensed schedule down to 5 minutes. And again, apologize that we can't get a camera launch out there. Clark had pretty good margins over his competitors yesterday, and it appears that he has equally strong margins today over his closest competitor. He's in the last 250 meters. That's when the buoys go from yellow to red. Does not look particularly stressed as he's just pushing the boat down the course. And that is William Lejanowski coming across the line in second place. And third will be Maxwell Heed from Seattle Scullers. So Clark Dean will be on his way to Lithuania to defend his title. That's very exciting. And now we'll swing back up. Referee calls a fair race with the white flag. And U19 women's double is underway. The boats in the center, if there's three boats, is the boat that won the first race, so they get the priority lane, which is in the center. And yesterday, the boat of Caitlin Gildersleeve and Lauren Howe got out to a fast start. And if I remember correctly, around 500, it was tied up. And then Camille Vandermeer and Sarah McErlin then rode through them and just didn't look back and kept going, had a open water by the finish. From here, it looks like they have open water, but by how much, it's hard to tell. So we don't know what happened in the first 1,000 meters of the race, how that played out, but it appears that the result may be similar to yesterday's, with McErlin and Vandermeer out front. If I remember yesterday's race, this does look a little bit tighter. But if the lead boat is still the lead boat, then it doesn't really matter how tight it is. The winner is the winner. And off they go to Lithuania. But they still have about, well, they're getting close to the 1500. So maybe 600 more meters to row. Oh, nope. So there's the 500 meter marker. They're through the 500. Coming into the red buoys, which indicates 250 meters to go. So Sarah McErling and Camille Vandermeer with about 150 meters to go. And again, this is final 2, and it's best 2 out of 3, which it appears that they have accomplished. All right, good luck to Sarah and Camille at the World Championships. We'll be following. In the men's double, yesterday's winner, Cooper Tuckerman and Christopher Fisher, and they appear to be out in front again, rowing for Vesper with the big V on the back. Competitors Jeremy Wolpert and Michael Fairley. But it looks like Tuckerman and Fisher are doing a nice job. Yesterday in this race, similar to the women's race, uh, Wolpert and Fairley got out front early, and then they were even at about the 500, and there was a bit of a battle going on for a little while. But at the 1,000, it really started to break open, and Tuckerman and Fisher started to row away. Sorry we can't get you the first part of the race. We're on a condensed schedule, racing on 5-minute centers, and that also precluded us from getting a camera launch out there. So we don't know how the first 1,000 of this race went, but Tuckerman and Fisher had a comfortable margin yesterday, and it appears they have a comfortable margin today. That's 5-6 boat lengths of open water. And they are coming to the line. Congratulations. And we'll be watching you in Trakai. U19 women's pair underway. We had a big storm roll through here earlier this morning. It has since passed. You can see the remnants in the sky above the race here. But we had to go to a condensed schedule because there's the potential of another one coming in a little bit later this morning. So we're on 5-minute centers. So the only camera we have is from the top of the finish tower. But even from the top of the finish tower, we can see that yesterday's winners of excuse me. Hello? Yes? Actually, I'm actually really busy. Your name actually came up as somebody else who I needed to talk to. I really can't talk right now. I'm very sorry. And yesterday's winners of Coven and SA are out in front again and doing looks like a good job. Again, the winner from yesterday, this is the best 2 out of 3 for the U19 group. The winner goes into the middle lane if there are 3 boats. And on the outside, furthest away from us in lane 1, is Kozjowski and Rage, and closest to us is Braz and Nifton. But in the middle is Coven and Essay, and they appear to have few boats of open water between them and the nearest competitor. So less than 500 meters to go. See, our leading pair have taken the rate up a little bit, and they are going to push it to the line. The buoys go from yellow to red, and they'll be there in just a couple more strokes. And that is 250 meters to go. Just a couple strokes from the line. And when they pass over, they can accept the invitation to race at the World Championships. Oh, congratulations. We'll be watching you in Trakai. Beautiful race course there. And now we'll swing back up. Referee signals a fair race. Swinging back up and looking for the men's pairs, which are underway. Yesterday in the men's pairs, we had Gallagher and Muir in winning, and they are in lane 1, and they are out in front again. And my apologies, the Junior Worlds are in Czechoslovakia, the Czech Republic this year. I think I was thinking of the U23s. And so these athletes will be going off to the Czech Republic. And Jack Gallagher rowing on his home course, doing a nice job. Pair partner Gregory Lemur rowing from Pacific out on the west coast, the Bay Area. And just a couple strokes to the line, and they will have won the best 2 out of 3 and will be heading off to the Czech Republic. Congratulations. On the course right now at about the 1,000-meter mark is the U23 men's quad, and this is a final. Craftsbury in lane 1, furthest away from the camera. Northwest in lane 2, which is closer to the camera. And this looks like a really good race. It does look like at this point that the Northwest Rowing Center has a little bit of an edge over Craftsbury.
They've got a bunch of fans screaming from the little pavilion.
There is a little bit of a fan base here. They've got some people down at the 500-meter mark, which they just passed, doing lots of hooting and hollering. It's hard to tell. This is still a tight race. Rates are coming up. Northwest Rowing Center seems to have a little bit of an edge. Northwest Rowing Center with maybe a half a boat, maybe a little bit more over Craftsbury with about 150 meters to go. Make that almost a boat length. Wow, what a great race. Northwest Rowing Center on their way to the U23 World Championships. Congratulations. Now the rest of the morning is heats. That was the last final of the morning. And we'll get to those heats as soon as we can. In lane one, which is on the far side away from the camera, is Corwin and Francis. In the middle, from New York AC, in the middle is Shirley and Garay from Penn AC. And then closest to the camera is Lutzdau and Babik, and also from Penn AC. So they are getting close to the 500 meter mark. And it appears that Shirley and Garay from Penn AC in the middle lane have a lead. And these are heats. And the repechage for these heats will be this afternoon. So lane 2 out in front by open water. Shirley and Garay from Penn AC. Appear to be able to hold off Lutzow and Babic. A little bit of open water between these two. And it's Shirley and Garay across the line. No, I didn't. Well, they'll go to the reps, and hopefully they'll do well in the reps. And getting close to the 1,000-meter mark is heat 2 of the men's double. There are 3 heats. Lane 1 on the far side is Puz and Kohler. In the middle, Keene and Frid. And closest to us is Nippen and Cunningham. And it appears that Keene and Frid from Penn AC out in the middle have an advantage over their competitors. So we are on a condensed schedule due to weather, and with 5-minute centers, we did not put a camera launch out. Hopefully the weather will hold through this morning's events, but they are condensed because the potential of another storm cell coming through a little bit later this morning. Just want to make sure we got all the races in. Second of 3 heats this morning for the men's double. Oh, and this is not U23. My apologies. This is the senior. They've got we've got U23s and seniors mixed in. This is the senior men's double. .250 meters to go. Keen and Fred out in front by a very comfortable margin. Appear to be rowing just hard enough to make sure they stay out in front. It's a fair race, and again, the repechage will be this afternoon. Going back up the race course is Heat 3 of the men's double. On the far side, lane 1 from Craftsbury is Bellows and Veer. In the middle from Craftsbury, Davison and Graves. And closest to us from the Oklahoma City High Performance Center, it's a composite boat, Cardno and Horpel. And right now, give it to Davison and Graves in the middle. It's a very experienced double from Craftsbury. You can check herenow.com for all the results, and a good place to check for updated schedules. Hopefully weather will not play into any part of the rest of the regatta. But there will be more races this afternoon, and then tomorrow morning and Sunday morning. Hard to tell how much the margins have changed, but looks like Ben Davison and John Graves are still out in front. Seems to be by a reasonable margin. Certainly enough that they can see what's going on behind them pretty comfortably. And Davison and Graves coming to the line in about 5-6 strokes. Wow, good finish for second and third. HereNow.com is the place to go find results. Referee puts up the white flag, calls fair race. And we swing back around for the next race, which is the first heat of the U23 women's single. In lane 1, furthest away from the finish line camera, is Kendall Sanowski. Lane 2 is Emily Kaufels. And in lane 3, which is closest to the finish line camera, is Emily Winslow. And this is the first of 2 heats. And from here, it would appear that Emily Kaufels is out in front between Ms. Winslow and Sanowski. Hard to tell. Right now, I'd give it to Sanowski, but they're still a ways away. It does look like Emily Kaufels has a pretty healthy margin, a very comfortable margin. Through the 1,000 meters, they're a bit past the 1,000 meters. It's a little deceptive. Emily Kaufels, our leader right now, attends Princeton. She won the single at the 2017 Under-23 trials and won the double sculls at the 2016 Junior, 23, and Senior trials, and won the single sculls and double sculls at 2015 Youth Nationals. So she is quite an accomplished sculler, and she's showing that skill today with significant margins over her competitors. Less than 500 meters to go. And Emily Kaufels maintaining a very significant margin over her competitors. A little less than 250 meters to go. And she will be heading to the final for this event. And across the line, doing a nice job out in front. And that's Kendall Sinowski. And Emily Winslow. Waiting for the referee to call fair race, which he does. And we head back up for Heat 2. We're on a condensed schedule today to avoid the weather. And in this race, we have Elizabeth Sherris, who is out in front in lane 1. And Rhiannon Mulligan from Craftsbury in lane 2. Ms. Sherris finished 4th in the doubles last year at the Junior World Rowing Championships and finished 3rd in the quad at the 2015 Junior Championships. She's going to be heading to Stanford next year, where I'm sure she will make great contributions to that program. And Miss Mulligan rows at Wellesley and will graduate in 2020. So both these athletes still potentially have a couple more years to try this and be successful at it. Right now it is Elizabeth Sherris with a very strong lead. And she's about 400 meters to go. Elizabeth Sherris, 5-6 strokes from the line, rowing for Y Quad Cities. And Miss Mulligan pushing it to the line, and she rows for Craftsbury. And that concludes the U23 women's singles heats. And we are moving on to the U23 women's doubles. Again, we have 2 heats. U23 women's doubles heat 1. In lane 1, furthest away from the finish tower, is Ms. Paintner and Sutton. In the middle, Merrick and Solms. And closest to the camera, Flynn and Bussey. And right now, it appears that Miss Merrick and Solms are out in front. Well, it looks like open water over the nearest competitor. And those other 2 boats appear to be pretty close to each other. All 3 of these boats are out of the U23 women's selection camp. And they have a little less than 500 meters to go. About 200 meters to go, a little less. Continues to be Merrick and Solms out in front. Second place appears to be Flynn and Buss. And on the far side, Paintner and Sutton. And the next race up is going to be Heat 2 of this event. Referee signals a fair race as we head back up to find Heat 2. We are on a condensed schedule due to weather, and unfortunately didn't get a camera boat out. But we're on 5-minute centers for the rest of the morning. Hopefully weather won't play into the rest of the regatta, but it certainly caused a lot of schedule changing and thought and concern about how to get this done, but how to do it safely, of course, between the rains that are rains and thunder and lightning that are supposed to be coming through central New Jersey. Lane 1, furthest away from the finish tower, is Hegeman and King. In the middle is Johnson and Michalik. And then in lane 3, which is closest to the camera, is Callaghan and Callaghan. And it appears that Johnson and Michalik are out in front, but the Craftsbury boat of Hageman and King does not appear to be too far behind. Maybe a boat length. And with a little more than 500 meters to go, Johnson and Michalik appear to have probably more than a boat length at this point. Hageman and King from Craftsbury putting on a push, trying to get back into Johnson and Michalik. But Johnson and Michalik appear to have open water at this point. And just a few strokes to the line for Johnson and Michalik. Followed by Hegeman and King. And then Callahan and Callahan coming to the line in 5 or 6 strokes. We have 3 heats of women's lightweight singles. And each heat has 4 boats in it, so a very full field. Lane 1, furthest away from the camera, as the boats get to about the 1,000-meter mark, is Kara Stowicki. Lane 2, and appears to be in the lead, is Michelle Sescher. Lane 4, lane 3 is Erin Roberts, and lane 4 is Brianna Goldstein. So lane 2, Michelle Sescher, rowing for Vesper, with a little bit of a lead over Kara Stowicki from Penn AC. It appears Miss Roberts and Goldstein are trailing back a little bit, some open water between the 2 leaders and the 2 trailing boats. Weather delays caused us to start late this morning and also condense the schedule down to 5-minute centers. So there's typically 2 races on the course at any given time. And unfortunately, unable to get a camera launch out. So with about 500 meters to go, it is Michelle Sescher out in front, rowing for Vesper. Also in view on the right-hand side is Kara Stowicki, rowing for Penn AC. Coming into view on the left-hand side is Erin Roberts, rowing for Riverside. And further to the left is Brianna Goldstein. And our leader right now, out in front by open water over her competitors, doing a nice job, Michelle Sescher. There are 3 heats of women's lightweight singles, and each heat has 4 boats in it, so it's a good solid field. Now into the last 250 meters for our leader, with open water between herself and everybody else. And Miss Escher just bringing it to the line. Just enough to stay ahead of her competitors, because she has some more racing to do before this is all done. Kara Stwicky across the line. Aaron Roberts. And rowing for Potomac, Brianna Goldstein coming to the line. Referee checking on all the athletes. They appear to be okay. Raises the white flag. Fair race. Heat 2 of the women's lightweight single. As I mentioned, another 4-boat race as they pass the 1,000-meter mark. Furthest from the camera is Sydney Taylor. Lane 2 is Christine Cavello. Lane 3 in the red top is Margaret Bertassi. And then in lane 4 in the bright green on the left-hand side is Mary Wilson, rowing for the Foundry. And it appears that Christine Cavello, rowing unaffiliated, is out in front right now, probably a little bit of open water. Hard to say who is in second, whether it's Miss Taylor from Seattle or Ms. Bertassi. I'll give it to Margaret Bertassi right now. Again, rowing unaffiliated in the red or orange top. Hey, Laura, you okay? There you go. And the dark top in the middle is Christine Cavello, rowing unaffiliated. And right now I'd give it to Margaret Bertassi in second place, with Sydney Taylor in third. But again, the angle is difficult. Less than 500 meters to go. Running on 5-minute centers here to avoid some weather that might be coming in after racing is done today, and a delay in racing this morning due to quite the storm that rolled through here. So a delay and a compression of schedule. Hopefully that's the last of the weather delays we'll see for the rest of the regatta, which runs through Sunday morning. We have a few reps this afternoon, and then Saturday morning for a bit, and Sunday morning. Christine Cavello with a pretty commanding lead. Second place is Margaret Bertassi. Third, Sydney Taylor right now. And fourth, Mary Wilson. But it is Christine Cavello coming to the line. All four boats across. Referee making sure that everybody's okay. White flag goes up. Called a fair race. And then we will swing around to heat 3 of the women's lightweight single. And they are already at the 1,000. Again, this compressed schedule really limited our ability to get a camera launch out there, so we apologize for that. So on 5-minute centers, there's really not enough time to turn around and get back up into any sort of position to get a shot. And the most important thing is not waking the boats out on the water, because the water is really nice right now. It's very calm. It's great for racing. So we have the shot from the top of the finish tower. In lane 1, furthest away from the camera, is Jessica Hine. In lane 2 is Michaela Kopenhaver. In lane 3, and maybe out in front here, is Hillary Sager. And in lane 4, on the far left-hand side of the screen, is Helen Samiango. I'm pretty sure Helen pronounces her last name differently than I just did. Apologies. Right now, rowing for Riverside, Hillary Sager appears to be out in front with a little bit over Michaela Koperhaven. And those two with open water over the trailing 2 boats. Less than 500 meters to go. And I have to give it to Hillary Sager right now, with Michaela Koperhaven in second place, maybe a boat length down. As they get into the last 250 meters, you see the distinctive blue and white stripes on Hillary Sager's jersey, rowing the yellow boat. On the outside of her is Michaela Koperhaven, rowing for GMS. And there's about a boat length difference between these two, but a good race between these two all the way down the course. Everybody's across. Referee signals fair race. And we swing back up for the men's lightweight single, Heat 1, which is past the 1,000-meter mark at this point. Lane 1 on the right-hand side of the screen is David Smith rowing for New York AC. Lane 2 is Hugh McAdam rowing unaffiliated. Jasper Liu in lane 3 rowing for Penn AC. And on the far left-hand side is Joshua Ramond rowing for San Diego. And right now I have to give it to Jasper Liu, rowing for Penn AC in lane 3. It appears he's ahead of Hugh McAdam, who's ahead of David Smith, who's ahead of Joshua Ramond on the far left-hand side in the distinctive red and white San Diego jersey. Hugh McAdam, very experienced athlete, may have a little more up his sleeve and may be able to come back a bit at Jasper Liu from Penn AC. We'll see. But those two seem to be pretty close together. And with less than 500 meters to go, I think they are too close together to call. If anything, I'd still give it to Jasper Liu by just a little bit. You see Hugh McAdam looking over, seeing where he is. So we'll see who has a sprint. They are into the last 250. And it looks like Hugh McAdam certainly rowing a little bit higher and maybe pushing through. Yeah, Hugh is really jacking it up now. See if Jasper can respond. Jasper just went up. Oh my goodness. HereNow.com. That's where the results are going to be. I'm not going to call this. Wow. HereNow.com to find the results. That was a great race between those two. And everybody across the line. Wait for the A-OK from the referee. If everybody looks upright and safe, white flag goes up. You show the athletes. And then to the referee tower, and it is a fair race. Heat 2 of the men's lightweight single is underway. And we'll pick them up, swing around. A weather delay this morning put us a bit behind schedule. Condense the schedule down to 5-minute centers. So we have the camera from the top of the finish tower. It's a nice shot down the lake. And generally we've been able to tell what's going on. And just sorry we couldn't bring you the side-by-side action. Second and final heat of the men's lightweight single. On the far right-hand side, rowing for Vesper, is Tyler Nace. In lane 2, in the yellow boat, just right below Tyler Nace on the screen, is Andrew Campbell. Lane 3, rowing unaffiliated, is a Drake Duel. And then on the far left-hand side is James Nelson from Seattle. And out in front, Andrew Campbell. Very familiar name for those who follow a lightweight men's rowing. Andrew well out in front with about 200 meters to go. Again, those of you who follow a lightweight men's rowing would not be surprised to see that. Andrew across the line. Tyler Nace, Drake Duell, and in fourth will be James Nelson. At just about the 1,000-meter mark, U23 women's lightweight single heat 1. In lane 1, furthest away from the finish tower, is Elizabeth Martin. Lane 2 is Jennifer McIlvaine. Lane 3, Grace D'Souza. Lane 4, Bridget Bain. And lane 4 is on the left-hand side of your screen. So if I had to put money down, I would say Grace D'Souza, rowing for Vesper, is out in front right now, followed by Jennifer McIlvaine from Craftsbury. There are 2 heats in the U23 women's lightweight single. Conditions are just fantastic for racing right now. Earlier this morning, not so much. It's a condensed schedule, hopefully to get all these races in, which it looks like we will before the next chunk of ugly weather rolls through town. This evening we have more races, repechage for a couple of events, and then more races Saturday morning and Sunday morning. Right now it is Grace D'Souza from Vesper. Out in front, second place, Jennifer McIlvaine from Craftsbury. And Elizabeth Martin, my guess, is over Bridget Bain. The buoys turn from yellow to red, signifying 250 meters to go. And Grace D'Souza with open water over the rest of the field. About 100 meters to go. It is Grace D'Souza, followed by Jennifer McIlvaine. Everybody across, and the referee making sure that everybody is safe. Looks good. Signals the cruise. Fair race. Supposed to signal the finish tower fair race. As we head back out on our condensed schedule, every 5 minutes a race goes off. We're into the second heat. This is a 3-boat race. Lane 2 is open. In lane 1 is Julia Knowles. Lane 3 is Bridget Kennedy. And lane 4 on the far left-hand side is Rachel Pierce. And right now I'd give it to the boat in the middle, which is Bridget Kennedy. And they are 1,200 meters or so into this race. Well through the 1,000. And coming up on the 500 in a couple hundred meters. So Bridget Kennedy out in front. Give it to Julia Knowles in second. And Rachel Pierce in third. After this race, we have 3 more races this morning. The U23 men's lightweight single, and there are 3 heats in that event. .250 meters to go, and it is Bridget Kennedy maintaining a strong lead over her nearest competitor, who's many boat lengths behind. Julia Knowles in second place right now, and Rachel Pierce from Vesper in third. as Ms. Kennedy comes to the line in just a couple strokes. Referee signals a fair race. And we swing around. And the men's lightweight single, U23, Heat 1, is well underway. Looks like they're at about the 1200 or so. 3 heats, 3 boats per race. In lane 1 on the far side, on the right from Vesper, is Charles Kuntz. In the middle, rowing on home water, is Austrian Trubert. And then in lane 3 on the left-hand side is Campbell Cole rowing for Vesper. And it looks like Austin is taking advantage of being on home water and has open water lead on Campbell Cole in lane 3, with Charles Kuntz trailing. Austin appears to have boat of open water, maybe not that much. And it looks like Mr. Cole from Vesper is putting a push on. But certainly Austin can see everything that's going on behind him and can respond to any pushes put on by Mr. Cole. Austin Trubert in a good position to watch Campbell Cole. See if he's going to respond, see how he's going to do it. A little bit of open water here. Well, maybe a boat of open water here with less than 100 meters to the line. Referee signals a fair race, and we go back up for Heat 2 of the U23 men's lightweight single. And they are right about the 1,000-meter mark. In lane 1, furthest away from the camera, is Mark Cowenhoven, rowing for Bachelors. In the middle is Zachary Hesse, rowing for New York AC. And in lane 3, on the left-hand side of the screen, is Brian Kungo, rowing for Vesper. And right now I'd give it to Zachary Hesse in the middle. But hard to say because it looks like Mark Cowenhoven from Bachelors is right there also. Brian Kungles is trailing a bit. Getting very close to the 500-meter mark. Still appears that Zachary Hesse from New York AC is in the lead. A boat length, maybe a little more, is Mark Cowenhoven from Bachelors. And then in third place from Vesper is Brian Kungle. About 100 meters to go. And Zachary Hesse still out in front. A little more than a boat length. All right, and Mark Cowenhoven coming across the line. And in third is Brian Kungle from Vesper. The last race of the morning. The last race of the morning is underway at about the 1,000-meter mark. very close to it. It is the third and final heat of the U23 men's lightweight single. The three competitors. On the far right-hand side in lane 1 is Dominique Williams from Craftsbury. Lane 2, and appears to be our leader at this point, at about 1,000 meters. They're past 1,000 meters a little bit. Sean Hayes from Row America Rye. And then in lane 3, on the far left-hand side, is Michael Landau from PNRA Mercer, rowing on home waters here in central New Jersey. Rowing with a very condensed schedule, 5-minute centers due to a storm we had earlier this morning, and potential storms later this morning. So wanted to get these races in, so started a little late, condensed the schedule, and it looks like we're going to get them in, which is fantastic. There's more racing this afternoon, just 4 races, starting at 6:45 Eastern. And then tomorrow morning starting at 7 a.m. and then Sunday morning starting at 7 a.m. And that will, Sunday morning will conclude World Championship Trials 1. Go to herenow.com for results and schedules for upcoming races in this event. And any schedule changes will also be posted at herenow.com. Well, between 3 boats, this looks like one of the tighter races we've had this morning. But it still appears that Sean Hayes from Row America Rye, New York, is still out in front, but maybe not by a whole lot. Dominic Williams from Craftsbury is right there with them. Actually, this is really tight. This is definitely the tightest race we've had this morning. Look at these 3 boats.
Crowds are getting loud. They're yelling like Michael, Dom, back and forth.
And Michael is now in second. And over in lane 1 is our leader. From Craftsbury, Dominique Williams. Across the line. And that is it for this morning's racing. We'll see you this afternoon for a few repechages, and then tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. Thank you for watching.